Welcome everyone to the BattleBots Reviewer. I'm your host Josh Mitchell, and today we are bringing you our preseason top 20 BattleBots rankings. Every week throughout the BattleBots season, we will be updating this list, telling you who's on top of the BattleBots world right now. The season resumes on December 3rd. Be ready for it. And this season is going to be different than all seasons past because we don't have that bot that looks like they're set up to win. The last couple years it's been Bite Force, Minotaur, Tombstone. Before last season we thought Bronco, now we got Hydra in the mix. And all these bots up at the top, but this season is marked by a lot of those top bots not participating. Mainly your top two, obviously Bite Force and Minotaur, will not compete this season. It is a massive, massive shift in the field. Tombstone will be back. Witchdoctor, Hydra, some of your top teams, but those two in particular. A couple others from last season that will not be participating. Death Roll, Cobalt, both very impressive bots from last season, will not be back. However, it's slightly offset by the return of some bots. Ice Wave and Beta being, in my mind, the two headlines to return to the BattleBots field. Beta, the best hammer to ever play the game. Ice Wave, one of the most destructive bots of all time. Both coming back. We'll have to see how they are after having not seen Ice Wave. We haven't seen in 2 years. Beta we haven't seen since 2016. It's been a long time since Beta was out there, but if they are what they were in 2016, when they went on a massive run, falling in the end to Tombstone, they can make some noise in this tournament. But without further ado, let's get right to the list. Starting at number 20 is Fusion. And instantly you say, who's Fusion? Exactly, that's how light the field is this year, but also how deep. Because with it being so light at the top, it makes it so it's a lot deeper down below. Fusion is a new bot coming from Team Waiachi. Anything from Team Waiachi, it's got to be good, right? So they will come in at number 20. We'll have to see what they can do. Number 19, we have Gruff. Gruff, they were alright last year. They made some noise when they went the full 3 minutes against Tombstone. But, again, we have to see what they come out with this year. Last year was a great coming out party for them. They got a lot of attention, kind of got to be seen. We'll see if they come out this year more determined and just a better team this year. At number 18, we have Valkyrie. Valkyrie's kind of been on that outskirts the last couple years. We'll see. This year could be a chance for Valkyrie to really make some noise and get to the tournament this year. At number 17, we have Uppercut. Uppercut was a top 16 bot last year. They were there. And as a rookie bot last season, we'll see they come out a little bit better, a little more prepared, a little more experienced this year. We'll see if they can also, just like Valkyrie, make some noise and get into that tournament again. At number 16, we have one of the fan favorites to me, Hypershock. We love Hypershock. You know, they're cool, fun guys. They like to trash talk when they're winning and talk it off when they're good. I mean, they're just a fun team. They have a fun bot. It's fast. It's aggressive. It's the kind of bot you love to see. We'll see. Last year, they started to improve. The last couple of years, they've been struggling, had things going their way. Last year, you know, even the Bite Force fight that they lost, they were looking good against Bite Force. And if they can just keep tuning the bot up, get it working right, they could really make some noise and get possibly even get a high seed in this tournament, depending on how their matchups go and other details. But they have a big shot to really do well this year. At number 15, we have Endgame. Endgame was a team that when they came out in their rookie year, started the year off 2-0, looking like, oh man, here's the next bot, the next Bite Force. And then they dropped off. But they still have a very strong bot, can really deliver some hits. And against a lot of new bots, a lot of old, low-tier bots that they will likely be playing, they could really make some noise. And if they can get a signature win during the regular season against a top team, they can make the tournament and really just light things up if they get the shot. Number 14, we have Gigabyte. Gigabyte was not a good bot. Then they were, and then they weren't, and then they were the last couple of years. This season, we're looking for consistency from Gigabyte. We're looking for them to come out and prove that they are the big, full-body spinner and the best in the world at being that spinner. They'll have some tough tasks. I think they will get some tough matchups. And they have to find a way to get the wins. To come out on top in a few clutch games, a few clutch fights. But if they can, I think they will make the round of 16 this year. I don't think they'll be a high seed, but against, again, a lot of low-tier bots in this season, they can destroy these bots and really make a case for being a top 16 bot. Number 13, the return of my favorite bot of all time. Beta the Hammer, the only hammer bot that was actually good. You watch hammers nowadays, bink, 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 trash. You watch Beta, boom. He will pound the top of your bot. If you watch the 2016 fight against Tombstone, he bends Tombstones, the top of Tombstone, in on itself. That is the power behind Beta. It can destroy your bot, and if it is driven well, which it will need to be, and you worry about seeing a little rust after having not played since 2016, but if they can drive well, get the hammer hitting well, if it's hitting like it was in 2016, they can really go on a run this season. At number 12, it's Bronco. Way down. What happened? Well, to be simple, they lost. They lost everything. And I think the fact that they're still on the list, I mean, just a horrendous season last year. But the Bronco team has shown over the years that they can adjust, that they can get things better. They had some unfortunate fights with the flipper breaking and bad matchups against good teams. This season, they need to come out, get last season, play like they're the best flipper in the game, and hopefully they've made the adjustments to the bot to make it more tuned to today's game. It needs to be able to turn faster, and hopefully they have changed the sides somehow. That was the weakness. You saw it mainly against the Whiplash fight last season, where Whiplash just got to the side and there's just nothing you can do. They can't turn, they don't have enough drive power, they weren't low enough, they just get to the turn, they just push them all around. There's nothing to do. Bronco has work to do, but they can really improve this season. I trust them to get better, and I think they come out, maybe they don't go 4-0. I think 3-1, I think, is a safe prediction for them. I think they will probably get matched up against a couple lighter teams than they did last season, and we'll see how they go, but I think they will definitely improve this season. I do not see them going 0-4 again. It's just not happening. They're too good for that, and we'll have to see how it goes, but right now Bronco at 12, I think, and that's going to end up where they're going to sit all year. I don't think they're going to work their way back up to that top 4, that top 5. I think they're going to stay right into that middle ground, but with potential to go up to that next level. At number 11, we have Black Dragon, the number 8 seed from last season, the Desperado tournament winner. And really, Black Dragon was just solid. Okay? They weren't flashy, they weren't delivering massive hits, but they came out, they hit you, they ground you down, they showed great durability, they showed great driving, and just overall, just a great bot, a great team. And now the new face from Brazil, with Minotaur not coming back this year, they can really, really step it up this year, get back to the round of 16, get to the Elite 8. I think that is the objective for Black Dragon this season, is that Elite 8 range for them to improve on last season and just keep getting better, keep beating teams down. That is what they have been doing this last year, and that is what I expect them to continue to do this season. At number 10, halfway through the list now, we come to SawBlaze. And SawBlaze, you might think would be higher. They've been a high seed, they've looked good at times, but really the design of the bot, the style of the bot as a SawBot, it's not built for today's game, it seems. And yes, you think that they're designed to beat your standard disc spinner. But they haven't been able to do that. They haven't been able to show that they can beat a normal disc spinner, your Endgame, your Byte Force. They haven't shown that they can beat that caliber of team. And I think this is the only team really on this list I think will fall. All these teams, I look at it, I'm like, these teams are going to go up, up, up. SawBlaze, I think, goes down. They're not good. But they have a strong motor, good design, more or less. But if they could just get it so that they can consistently get under people over and over again during their fights, you'll see they'll be right underneath you, pushing you around. The next time they come at you, you hit their one of their forks, it bends, now they can't do anything. All right? So if they can find that consistency and just be good. Like, they haven't looked good to me. And they keep winning, but this season is going to really, really be telling about SawBlaze. I think SawBlaze comes out, I would not be surprised if they get several marquee matchups this season against top teams. And we'll have to see what they do, but I don't know. We'll see about SawBlaze. It's tough to predict SawBlaze, but we'll see. At number 9, we have Rotator. And Rotator is a team that's been at that bottom, just touching into the top 16 area, looking better. Then they beat Tombstone, and everybody's like, whoa, are these guys for real? And I think they are. I think the way Rotator is built, they are built like a bombshell from years back, where they can adjust their bot to have a favorable matchup against anyone, and they showed it especially against Tombstone. That they can come out with that nice wedge, built well into the bot wheels, nice and compact, you can't really get at them well, and just hit your big things. And then if you come out with a disc spinner, well, we got Blaze, we can go hit for hit with you. And the ability to adjust and play to your opponent's weakness is very good. And they're well driven, well built, they're a veteran team, I think. They're a very safe pick for the top 16. Not be surprised if they get Elite 8, even Final 4 this year. The ceiling for this team is going up, and they're top of the line. This is the future of BattleBots, is to have the adjustable bot that you can tune around to play to whoever you're playing. They will make some noise this year. Now, it's going to be tougher because being that better team that is now recognized a little more, they'll have tougher matchups. And they're going to have to prove, especially early in the season, that they are what I and many others, I'm sure, think that they are a top-tier team in this league. At number 8, we have Ice Wave, the return of one of the most destructive bots of all time, a 2 seed from, I think, 2016. I think it was 2016. They were the 2 seed in the tournament. That just tells you how high up they were. They were considered one of the very best at that time. Now, we don't know what they are now. Last time we saw them, it was basically Rotator cutting up their engine. Is kind of the image we have of last time we saw them, but they need to come out and reestablish themselves. Or having not played last season, they will be taken, at least at first of the start of the year, I think they will be taken as a mid-tier team with potential as a high-tier team. And they need to capitalize on those matchups they will get early in the year where they will be playing lesser bots. They need to take advantage, get off to a 2-0, 3-0 start before they have to play your top tier teams. The ceiling for Ice Wave, I think, is the Final Four. I don't think they have the capabilities of a giant nut, because we've seen that where their caliber bots can really wreck your mid-tier, low-tier bots against high-tier, top-end teams. We don't know. They have the capabilities to win those fights, but we haven't seen them do it consistently with that style of bot that Ice Wave has. At number 7, we have S.O.W. Same thing as Ice Wave. We've seen him wreck mid-tier, low-tier bots. We've seen him win against high-tier bots. Now we need to see consistency. We need to see him come out and beat big bots time and time again. And that is what S.O.W. has to do. They have to prove to everyone that they are an elite team. I think realistically, S.O.W. should probably in this format get a 4-5 seed. I have them down at 7 because they're countered. A lot of the teams on my list and around the league are built to beat bots like S.O.W. That doesn't mean they can do it. It's one thing to be built to beat them. It's another thing to beat them. But they will have tough matchups that they'll have to win. They cannot go 2-2, 1-3, get a low seed, because they have to get a mid-tier seed, I think, or a high mid-tier seed in the tournament. If they get a low-tier seed, that means they gotta go play one of these big bots. And I don't think they can beat the big bots yet. They can beat them. I wouldn't pick them to beat them. Okay? They are not a team that you pick to beat your top teams. Okay? They're not your upset team, but they will destroy mid-tier, low-tier bots. Even if the bot is built to beat them, they can still destroy them. Okay? That is why S.O.W. deserves to be high on this list, because of the pure destructive power that they have, and veteran driving, which always helps. At number 6, we have Lockjaw. Another thing, kind of like Rotator, where they have a little bit of adjustability among them. There's nothing bad to say, you know. They have Donald Hudson, one of the very best to ever do it. He needs to come out this season and drive and build and play like he's better than everyone else. Because really, he kind of is. I don't see a single matchup that Lockjaw can't win. With Bite Force gone, with Minotaur gone, there's no bot Lockjaw can't beat. Now, does that mean I'm going to pick him over Tombstone, over Witchdoctor, over the top teams? No, that doesn't mean I'm going to pick him over him, but they are not countered, I don't think. And I think they will come out. I think they'll have a strong year. I think they'll get top seed in the tournament. And it'll come down in the regular season. It'll come down to their one matchup. I think they will get one shot to truly establish that they are a top 4 team in the league. And that shot will be against a top team. And if they win that match, they will be a top 4 seed. And I think the ceiling for Lockjaw is the giant nut. Now, the floor is way down there. But the ceiling, I think, is the giant nut. I think Lockjaw has the capabilities and the drive skill to win the nut. At number 5, we have Huge. And what a road it's been for Huge. From the first year, it's like, what do you mean? That's not going to work. And then, whoa, they're pretty good. And then to last year, to that very disappointing loss in the postseason, last season where they almost pulled the upset of Bite Force, they can come out, and without Bite Force, without some of the other teams, you know, for them it is all about matchup. You know, they can't play your S.O.W., your Ice Wave, Tombstone, maybe even Whiplash. But but they will beat everyone else, and even those teams, they have a shot. And that's the thing that we're looking at here. Can they beat them? Not will, can. And Huge has the ceiling of the Giant Nut, I think. If they get some help from around the league, somebody knocks off Tombstone, something like that on the other side of the bracket, you know. But I think they can win the Nut this year. It'll be a long road, it'll be tough, but I think it is possible. And number 4, we have Whiplash. And Whiplash is just, it's well driven, well built, but this season they have to come out with a weapon. They haven't had a weapon the last couple years. The disc experience done essentially nothing. It's been the grapple arm that has carried this team, and they need to show that that disc can do some damage, and I hope that they've upgraded it some. Maybe take a little bit of weight off of somewhere else and stick it into that disc. Make that thing hit. They come out, if they are able to deliver those hits, able to drive like they've been driving, they can make a deep run into the playoffs. And number 3, we have Hydra. And Hydra, the new flipper bot. Bronco's gone, Hydra's up. The thing that makes Hydra good is just like Tombstone, I think. He can turn on a dot. And the ability to have your bot here and someone here be able to turn right into their side and pop them up is so strong. It's what Tombstone's done for years. That is why Hydra is better than Bronco, because Bronco can't do that. Against all bots, Hydra has a shot as long as he can drive well. You saw against Minotaur last season that against a good, aggressive driver, Hydra can struggle. You can get at him. That armor, it's not too thick. You can get through that armor. You just gotta get to that armor. And if they can keep bots away from them, just keep doing what they were doing last season, they will be a top seed in the tournament. At number 2, we have Witchdoctor. And Witchdoctor, you know, they could have been number 1. I think between Witchdoctor and number 1, it's right on top of each other, I think. But I think Witchdoctor has the matchup advantage. But, you know, the top 4 team, the finals, you know, a match away. But, you know, they got it right. They finally fixed the consistency problems, the drive, the motor, everything. It was all clicking last year. If it's clicking again this year, they might be on their way back to the Final 4. Is a reasonable guess for them. There's no matchup. I look up and down this list. There's not a single matchup. Just like Lockjaw, there's not a single team that I really think has a matchup advantage on them. The ceiling for them could be the Nut. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the Nut yet, because we have to wait and see. We have to see what they do at the start of the year. The first 2-3 matches for Witchdoctor will be very telling. And again, being a Final Four team, being a finalist last year, they're going to come out with a little bit of a target on their back. But not so much a target as a matchups. As a top team, you play top bots. And we'll have to see if they can beat the top bots like they were beating everybody else last year. But last year they didn't have these super tough matchups. They're going to have them this year. We'll have to see how they handle that little bit of adversity thrown in to the schedule. And that leaves, of course, number 1, the king of kinetic energy himself, Tombstone. Ray Billings coming back, and number 1 on the list. And like I said, you know, it's close between him and Witchdoctor, but you can't pick against Ray Billings. He's the bad man, okay? He's a bad man. He comes out, and he comes out here with one goal, and that is the Giant Nut. And the ceiling? It's the Giant Nut. And there's nothing more to say, you know. Tombstone is that bot that's just been there year after year, all the way back since 2015. Finalist in 2015, 2016 world champion. Come back the last 2 seasons, top team, okay, into the tournament. This year, their odds at the giant nut went way up because Bite Force is not here. Okay, they have tough competition, okay? Witchdoctor, Whiplash, some of these teams, even like a Black Dragon, a Bronco, these are tough matchups, but you don't pick against Ray Billings. It doesn't happen, okay? They might lose, but you don't pick against them. It doesn't happen, okay? The King of Kinetic Energy back this year, and I think back with blood in the water, headed for that giant nut. Thank you all for watching. That has been my top 20 BattleBots of 2020 list. If you have enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss anything else. Like I said, we're going to update this list throughout the entire season. These bots will go up and down, they'll fall off, they'll come back, we don't know. That's the beauty of BattleBots. No one knows what's going to happen, but we get to learn what happens. On December the 3rd on Discovery Channel, be there to see it. And throughout the rest of your week, while you're waiting for episode 2, come back here to the BattleBots Reviewer to see more BattleBots action. Until then, I'm Josh Mitchell, the BattleBots Reviewer, and I'll see you next time.